Welcome to IELTS CELPIP MasterPrep, your trusted source for real exam-based practice tests. Every test you see here is inspired by current exam trends, and each one comes with full model solutions to help you master every section. Here's our daily schedule. IELTS tests drop every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern, and CLP tests every evening at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. No matter which exam you're preparing for, we've got you covered every single day. Are you ready for today's test? Give it your best shot and comment your score. The top 5 scorers will be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter and awards. Want your name included? Let's begin.
What advice would you give Priya to help her choose between the job offer in Vancouver and the one in Calgary? Begin speaking now.
Hi Priya, I think you should think carefully about both offers. Vancouver is a beautiful city with lots to do, but it is very expensive to live there. Calgary has a lower cost of living, so you could save more money. Also, the project manager job sounds like a higher position, which is good for your career. However, if you prefer milder weather and being near the ocean, Vancouver might be better for you. I suggest you make a list of what matters most to you, like salary, career growth, and lifestyle. Then pick the city that matches your priorities.
Priya, this is an exciting situation, and I'd love to help you think it through. First, consider the career trajectory each role offers. The project manager position in Calgary seems like a step up professionally, which could open more doors for you in the long run. On the other hand, Vancouver's marketing coordinator role might align better with your creative strengths. Financially, Calgary is significantly more affordable. Housing costs alone could save you thousands each year. That said, Vancouver offers incredible diversity, a vibrant cultural scene, and milder winters. I'd recommend weighing what matters most right now: career advancement and savings, or lifestyle and personal fulfillment. Either way, you really cannot go wrong with 2 strong offers like these.
Priya, congratulations on having 2 remarkable opportunities that really speaks to your qualifications. Let me share some thoughts to help you navigate this decision. From a career development standpoint, the project manager role in Calgary offers greater responsibility and likely a faster path to senior leadership, which could be invaluable over time. Meanwhile, Vancouver's marketing coordinator position would allow you to sharpen your creative expertise in one of Canada's most dynamic markets. Financially, the disparity between the 2 cities is substantial. Calgary's considerably lower housing costs and absence of provincial sales tax would stretch your income much further. However, lifestyle considerations matter enormously too. Vancouver's temperate climate, breathtaking natural surroundings, and multicultural vibrancy are genuinely hard to replicate. Ultimately, I'd encourage you to reflect on where you see yourself in 5 years. If professional advancement and financial stability are your priorities, Calgary seems ideal. If quality of life and cultural richness resonate more deeply, Vancouver is your answer.
Marcus refuses to listen to your reasoning about the Calgary offer. How do you address him and try to get him to at least consider your perspective? Begin speaking now.
Marcus, I understand you really like Vancouver, and I respect that. But I think you should at least consider the Calgary offer before making your final decision. The salary goes further in Calgary because rent and groceries are cheaper there. Also, the project manager title could really help your career in the future. I am not saying Vancouver is a bad choice, I just want you to look at both options fairly. You might regret it later if you do not compare them properly. Can you please just think about it for a few more days before you decide?
Marcus, I completely understand your enthusiasm for Vancouver. It's an incredible city, and I can see why it appeals to you. However, I feel like you're closing the door on Calgary without fully exploring what it has to offer. I'm not trying to push you in either direction, but as your friend, I want to make sure you're making an informed decision. Consider this: the cost of living difference alone means you could potentially own a home in Calgary within a few years, whereas Vancouver's housing market could keep you renting indefinitely. Beyond that, the project manager role carries more seniority and could accelerate your career significantly. All I'm asking is that you take a balanced look at both opportunities before committing. You deserve to make the best possible choice for your future.
Marcus, I hear you, and I genuinely respect your preference for Vancouver. There's no denying it's an extraordinary place to build a life. But I'd be doing you a disservice as a friend if I didn't challenge you to examine this decision from every angle. What concerns me is that you seem to be romanticizing Vancouver without weighing the practical realities against what Calgary genuinely brings to the table. Financially speaking, the affordability gap between these two cities is enormous. In Calgary, your dollar stretches dramatically further. We're talking potentially saving for a down payment on a home rather than spending half your paycheck on a one-bedroom rental in Vancouver. Professionally, the project manager title carries considerable weight and would position you for leadership opportunities down the road. I'm absolutely not dismissing your instincts, I simply want you to arrive at this decision through thorough deliberation rather than impulse. Would you be open to creating a proper pros and cons comparison with me this weekend? That way, whatever you choose, you'll have complete confidence in your decision.
Describe what you see in this park scene in as much detail as possible. Begin speaking now.
In this picture, I can see a very busy park on a sunny afternoon. There are many families enjoying the nice weather. In the center, some children are playing on a large playground with slides and swings. On the left side, a group of people is having a barbecue at a picnic table. I can also see a couple walking their dog on a path near some tall trees. On the right, some teenagers are playing soccer on the grass. In the background, there are tall buildings and a blue sky with a few white clouds. Everyone looks very happy and relaxed.
This picture captures a lively Canadian park bustling with activity on what appears to be a beautiful late spring afternoon. In the foreground, a large wooden playground is the focal point, where several young children are climbing, sliding, and swinging while their parents watch attentively from nearby benches. To the left, a multi-generational family has gathered around a picnic area, grilling food on a portable barbecue. The scene looks wonderfully festive. Along a winding pathway through the center of the park, joggers and cyclists share the trail, while an elderly couple strolls leisurely with a golden retriever. On the right-hand side, a spirited game of soccer is underway on a wide grassy field, with backpacks serving as makeshift goalposts. In the background, the city skyline rises above a canopy of mature maple trees, and the sky is a brilliant blue with scattered clouds.
This vibrant image portrays a quintessentially Canadian weekend afternoon in a sprawling urban park, teeming with energy and community spirit. In the immediate foreground, an elaborate wooden playground serves as the centerpiece, where children of various ages are enthusiastically navigating climbing structures, racing down spiral slides, and pumping their legs on swings. Their laughter practically radiates from the picture. Attentive parents and caregivers are scattered along surrounding benches, some engrossed in conversation while others keep a watchful eye on the little ones. To the left, a large extended family has transformed a shaded picnic area into a festive gathering, complete with a smoking barbecue, checkered tablecloths, and coolers overflowing with refreshments. A meandering paved pathway bisects the park, accommodating joggers in athletic wear, leisurely cyclists, and an elderly couple walking a golden retriever at a relaxed pace. On the far right, a group of teenagers is engaged in a competitive soccer match across an expansive green field, their jackets and backpacks casually tossed aside as improvised goalposts. The backdrop reveals a gleaming downtown skyline partially framed by towering sugar maples in full leaf, all beneath a luminous spring sky streaked with wispy cirrus clouds.
How do you predict remote work will change Canadian cities over the next decade and why? Begin speaking now.
I think remote work will change Canadian cities a lot in the next 10 years. First, I predict that smaller cities like Kelowna and Halifax will grow because people can work from home and do not need to live near their office. This means housing prices in these smaller cities might go up. Second, I think big cities like Toronto and Vancouver might become less crowded because some people will move away. Also, I believe there will be more co-working spaces in suburban areas. Finally, downtown areas might change because fewer people will need office buildings. Overall, remote work will give Canadians more choices about where they want to live.
I believe remote work is going to fundamentally reshape the Canadian urban landscape over the coming decade. One major shift I foresee is the continued growth of mid-sized cities such as Kelowna, Kingston, and Moncton, as remote workers seek more affordable housing and a higher quality of life without sacrificing their careers. Consequently, these communities will likely experience significant population increases, which could strain local infrastructure but also stimulate economic development. In contrast, major metropolitan centers like Toronto and Vancouver may see a gradual decline in downtown office demand, potentially leading to the conversion of commercial spaces into residential units or mixed-use developments. I also predict that suburban communities surrounding large cities will evolve into self-sustaining hubs with co-working facilities, improved transit, and enhanced local amenities. Additionally, I expect that broadband internet expansion into rural and northern regions will become a federal priority, enabling even more Canadians to work remotely from previously underserved areas.
Over the next decade, I anticipate that remote work will serve as a transformative catalyst, profoundly altering the demographic, economic, and architectural fabric of Canadian cities. Most significantly, we'll witness an accelerating migration from prohibitively expensive metropolitan centers toward mid-sized cities, places like Fredericton, Thunder Bay, and Kamloops, where remote professionals can enjoy substantially lower living costs, stronger community connections, and proximity to nature without compromising career advancement. This demographic redistribution will inevitably place pressure on these communities to expand their infrastructure, healthcare systems, and educational institutions, but it will simultaneously inject economic vitality into regions that have historically struggled with population stagnation. Meanwhile, Canada's major urban centers will undergo a fascinating metamorphosis. As corporate demand for traditional office towers diminishes, I predict we'll see imaginative repurposing of downtown commercial real estate into mixed-use developments featuring residential units, cultural spaces, and vertical urban farms. The suburban landscape will similarly evolve, with satellite co-working hubs emerging as vibrant professional ecosystems that reduce commuting while fostering collaboration. Perhaps most consequentially, the federal government will be compelled to dramatically expand high-speed broadband infrastructure into rural and indigenous communities, finally bridging the digital divide and unlocking economic participation for historically marginalized regions across the country.
Compare the two universities and persuade your friend to choose one of them. Why is your choice better? Begin speaking now.
I think you should choose UBC over McGill. Both are excellent schools, but UBC is better for environmental science. First, UBC is located in Vancouver, which has mountains, forests, and the ocean nearby. This means you can do outdoor research easily. Also, UBC has a strong sustainability program and many research labs focused on the environment. McGill is a great university too, but Montreal is a bigger city with less access to nature. The weather in Vancouver is also milder, so you will enjoy living there more. I really believe UBC is the best choice for you.
I would strongly recommend that you choose UBC over McGill for your environmental science degree. While both universities are highly ranked in Canada, UBC offers several distinct advantages. First of all, Vancouver's geography provides unmatched access to diverse ecosystems, including coastal rainforests, mountain ranges, and marine environments, which are ideal for hands-on fieldwork. Additionally, UBC's Faculty of Science has dedicated sustainability initiatives and cutting-edge research centers focused on climate change. On the other hand, although McGill has a prestigious reputation, Montreal's urban setting limits your exposure to natural research environments. Furthermore, Vancouver's milder climate allows for year-round outdoor study. Overall, UBC would give you the most well-rounded experience in your field.
Without a doubt, I would urge you to seriously consider UBC for your environmental science studies. Although McGill certainly boasts an outstanding academic reputation and a vibrant cultural atmosphere in Montreal, I believe UBC aligns far more closely with your career aspirations. To begin with, UBC's campus is situated on the edge of Pacific Spirit Regional Park and overlooks the Pacific Ocean, providing extraordinary access to marine biology, forestry research, and ecological fieldwork opportunities that simply cannot be replicated in an urban setting like downtown Montreal. Moreover, UBC has established itself as a global leader in sustainability, having committed to becoming a net-zero campus by 2035, which demonstrates a genuine institutional dedication to environmental causes. Additionally, the collaborative research partnerships between UBC and organizations such as Environment and Climate Change Canada would significantly enhance your professional network. While McGill's bilingual environment is certainly appealing, the practical advantages UBC offers for your specific discipline are truly unparalleled.
What would you do and say to resolve this difficult situation with your landlord? Begin speaking now.
This is a very serious problem because it is extremely cold in Ottawa right now. First, I would go directly to my landlord's office and speak to them in person. I would say that the heating has been broken for 3 days and it is dangerous to live without heat in -30 weather. I would remind them that under Ontario law, landlords must provide adequate heating. If they still refuse, I would contact the landlord and tenant board to file a complaint. I would also keep records of all my messages as evidence.
This situation is completely unacceptable and potentially life-threatening given Ottawa's extreme winter conditions. My first step would be to visit the landlord in person and calmly but firmly explain the severity of the issue. I would say something like, "I understand you may be busy, but our heating has been out for 3 days in -30 weather, and this poses a genuine health risk to my family." I would also remind them that Ontario's Residential Tenancies Act requires landlords to maintain heating systems, and failure to do so is a violation of the lease agreement. If they continue to ignore me, I would immediately file a complaint with the landlord and tenant board and contact Ottawa's municipal bylaw enforcement. Meanwhile, I would purchase a space heater and deduct the cost from next month's rent.
Given the life-threatening nature of this situation, I would take immediate and decisive action on multiple fronts. First, I would make one final attempt to reach my landlord by visiting their residence or office in person. I would calmly yet firmly state, "I have made numerous attempts to contact you over the past 3 days regarding our broken heating system. With temperatures plunging to -30 degrees, this is no longer merely an inconvenience, it constitutes a serious health and safety hazard that could result in frozen pipes and potential hypothermia." I would clearly inform them that under Ontario's Residential Tenancies Act, Section 20, landlords are legally obligated to maintain rental units in a habitable condition, and that persistent neglect of essential services can result in significant penalties. Should they remain unresponsive, I would promptly file a T6 application with the landlord and tenant board seeking an emergency order for repairs. Simultaneously, I would contact Ottawa's 311 service line to report the property standards violation and consult with a community legal clinic about pursuing a rent abatement for the days without heat.
Do you think Canada should increase its immigration targets? What is your opinion and why? Begin speaking now.
In my opinion, Canada should increase immigration targets. There are many job vacancies across the country, especially in healthcare and construction. Immigrants can fill these positions and help the economy grow. Also, Canada has an aging population, so we need younger workers to pay taxes and support public services. Some people worry about housing, but I think the government can build more homes to solve this problem. Immigration has always been important to Canada, and increasing the targets will make the country stronger. That is why I support this plan.
I firmly believe that Canada should increase its immigration targets, provided that the government also invests in the necessary infrastructure to support newcomers. Canada is currently facing critical labor shortages in sectors such as healthcare, skilled trades, and technology. By welcoming more immigrants, we can address these gaps and sustain economic growth. Furthermore, with Canada's birth rate continuing to decline, immigration is essential to maintaining a healthy tax base that funds our public services, including universal healthcare and pensions. That said, I do acknowledge that rapid population growth can strain housing markets and municipal services. Therefore, any increase in immigration must be accompanied by substantial investments in affordable housing, public transit, and settlement programs. A balanced approach would allow Canada to reap the economic benefits of immigration while ensuring quality of life for all residents.
I hold the view that Canada should thoughtfully and strategically increase its immigration targets, but only within a comprehensive framework that addresses the legitimate concerns surrounding such a policy shift. On one hand, the economic rationale is compelling. Statistics Canada has repeatedly highlighted that immigration accounts for nearly all of our labor force growth, and sectors ranging from long-term care to advanced manufacturing are desperately seeking skilled workers. Moreover, as our population ages and fertility rates hover well below the replacement level, we simply cannot sustain programs like the Canada Pension Plan and universal healthcare without a steady influx of working-age contributors. However, I believe it would be irresponsible to increase targets without simultaneously implementing robust measures to expand affordable housing, upgrade healthcare capacity, and strengthen settlement and language training services. The recent housing affordability crisis in cities like Toronto and Vancouver demonstrates what can happen when population growth outpaces infrastructure development. Ultimately, immigration is one of Canada's greatest strengths, but its success depends entirely on thoughtful planning and adequate resource allocation to ensure that both newcomers and existing residents can thrive together.
Describe this unusual situation. What did you see, what happened, and what did you do? Begin speaking now. Last Wednesday morning, I was enjoying a peaceful walk with my golden retriever through Stanley Park when something extremely unusual caught my attention. As we strolled along the path near the seawall, I noticed a large black duffel bag resting on an otherwise empty park bench. There was absolutely no one in sight, which struck me as odd. Curiosity got the better of me, and when I unzipped the bag, I could hardly believe my eyes. It was packed with neatly bundled Canadian $100 bills. I estimated there were hundreds of thousands of dollars inside. My heart was pounding and my mind raced with questions about where it came from. Despite a brief moment of temptation, I knew the right thing to do was report it immediately. I called the Vancouver Police Department's non-emergency line, described my location near 3rd Beach, and waited anxiously until 2 officers arrived to secure the bag.
What began as a perfectly ordinary Wednesday morning walk through Stanley Park quickly turned into one of the most surreal experiences of my life. I had set out early with my golden retriever, Cooper, hoping to enjoy the quiet trails along the seawall before the usual crowd of joggers and cyclists arrived. The morning mist was still lingering over the harbor, and the only sounds were the distant calls of seagulls and the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. As we rounded the bend near 3rd Beach, Cooper suddenly tugged on his leash and darted toward an isolated park bench. Sitting there, conspicuously unattended, was a large black duffel bag with its zipper partially open. When I cautiously peered inside, my stomach dropped. The bag was overflowing with neatly rubber-banded stacks of Canadian $100 bills. I stood there momentarily paralyzed, my mind racing through a dozen scenarios about how such a staggering sum of money could have ended up abandoned in a public park. After collecting myself, I resisted every impulse to touch anything further and immediately dialed the Vancouver Police Department. I provided them with my exact location and a detailed description of the bag, then waited nervously on a nearby bench with Cooper until officers arrived approximately 15 minutes later to secure the scene and take my statement.
Before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with other test takers, and subscribe so you never miss your daily IELTS and CELPIP tests. Drop your score in the comments. Your name could be featured in our monthly Achievers newsletter. Stay consistent, stay focused, and keep leveling up with MasterPrep.